Hey, welcome back outside to the THV11 Weather Garden for another edition of the Outdoor Report. Trey, there is a lot happening this week, so we'll waste no time. Tell us what's going on.
Well, the first thing, Scott, it's National Hunting and Fishing Day. And, I know there's like a day for everything these days.
But this is the most important one.
I wouldn't argue that at all. I wouldn't argue that
Good.
at all. And it actually, this year coincides with the opening day of archery deer season in Arkansas. And so a lot of hunters out there this morning. Some hopefully have already found some success,
Yep.
and others may have to stick it out for the weekend or maybe into next week.
The
but
season is early.
Look, it's still pretty warm out
Yep.
there, and you may kill more mosquitoes than you do white-tailed deer.
You don't have to
this time
tag
of year.
those, but they're big enough they probably should be tagged, huh?
Perhaps, yeah. So, a lot going on, a lot of fishing opportunities. We talked about it, I think, last week, the squirrel cook-off going on today up at our nature center, the Game and Fish Nature Center in Springdale.
Yep.
So,
Hunters Feeding the Hungry have a big event today, huh?
Yeah, that's a big one, Scott. They've been doing this for a number of years now, and that's going on at Bass Pro Shops today from 10 to 2. They call it the Freezer Cleanout Day.
Okay.
So archery deer season starting today. Obviously, we're not just a few weeks away from muzzleloading season.
Sure.
A lot of deer hunting activity that's going to be going on. And so Ronnie Ritter, the director of Arkansas Hunters Feeding the Hungry, came up with this idea a few years ago. It's like, people got to make room in the freezer, right? For the deer they're going to get today.
That's right.
If they're bow hunters. And so it's a way that you can, again, make room in your freezer for that next deer, but also help less fortunate Arkansans.
Making sure that food doesn't go to waste.
That's right.
Someone can use it.
Yeah, look, don't bring like 4 or 5 year old stuff that's freezer burned.
Yep.
We prefer professionally processed game. And if you've got ducks, you can bring those out, or geese or whatever. But again, if it's a couple years old, that's okay, as long as it's not freezer burned and it, and if when I say professionally processed, you did a good job yourself, vacuum sealed it, all that, it'll probably be fine. But again, that's 10 to 2, and anybody that donates, some venison or whatever today gets entered into a drawing. You're going to give away about a $250 ice chest, 40-quart ice chest. Also, 4 $100 Bass Pro gift cards they're giving away. You can also make a cash donation to Hunters Feeding the Hungry. Hey man, this is a great organization celebrating 23 years of existence this year. Started in 2000. Scott, they are feeding thousands and thousands of less fortunate Arkansans by donating ground venison to food banks. They've also, in the last few years, started a snack stick program,
which has grown rapidly.
Incredibly rapidly. I mean, it's hard to keep up with the demand, though, because so what they're doing is they're processing venison into these snack sticks, like beef jerky, basically. Sure. And last year, 70,000 packages of this that goes to schools around the state and for backpack programs where we send kids home on Friday with some good protein and not just junk food.
That's right.
And so going to probably try to hit 100,000 packages of snack sticks. Here's the crazy thing, Scott. All this venison, we kill 200,000 plus deer in Arkansas every year. Arkansas Hunters Feeding the Hungry is taking about 1.5% of the total harvest. So hunters, think about donating, and you can always donate cash to Arkansas Hunters Feeding the Hungry. When you buy a license at Arkansas Game and Fish, you can round up or make a donation there as well.
That's a fantastic idea. We're joined with Trey Reid from Arkansas Game and Fish. Now, Trey, we've been hunting for a couple of weeks. Some of those seasons have opened, and you're providing some good information, some good numbers coming out.
I've got a report for you. Yeah.
All right, let's hear it.
You want to start with bear?
I want to start with bear.
Yeah, bear, because it was, of our big game animals, it was the first one to open. Archery bear season opened the 13th, which is a Wednesday, so we're about a week and a half in. And the quota for archery has been met.
Already?
So it was a very good start to the season. Over 460 bears checked by Arkansas archery bear hunters within basically the first week of the season.
Now, where'd the majority of those?
Those are Ozarks and Ouachita's. So the zone 1 is the Ozarks, zone 2 the Ouachita's. Now we do have some bear zones, remember, that opened up last year
that were
in
new.
Southern Arkansas, but those seasons don't open until December.
So
they're a much later season. There's not an archery component of those yet. Now that may be coming someday in the future, but that population in the southern part of the state not as
robust
as it is in the Ozarks and Ouachitas. Of course, they've been expanding into that area, but and we did hit the quotas down there last year, so it was a good season. But yeah, so bear season off to a great start with the archery hunters.
Now, you've got some huge record-shattering news when it comes to the alligator hunt, too.
I do, Scott, I do. The alligator season also wrapped up last weekend, last Sunday, actually Monday morning.
All right.
It's hunting at nighttime, and so it took place over the last 2 weekends, a quota system on private lands and then public land permit hunt.
Got it.
And no record alligator like length this year, but we had a record number, Scott.
Total harvest overall.
Total harvest overall. And let me tell you, not only did we break the record, we shattered it. 202 alligators taken by Arkansas
202 in Arkansas, those 2 weeks.
Yeah, and the previous record, I think 3 years ago, was like 170 something. So, I mean, it was a substantial amount. I have had people ask, does that mean, that our alligator population is really blowing up or expanding? And the answer is not necessarily.
We could just be better at hunting them.
I think we're getting better at hunting them. There's also a lot of people that maybe have a property where they've got a gator that they don't necessarily want there on their private land. And so instead of having a nuisance alligator call that biologists have to go take their time away from conservation work to go move, it's easy for them to take care of that through the hunt now. And so I think a lot of people are taking advantage of that.
Talking about record-breaking numbers here, these temperatures have been near record-breaking, blazing hot this weekend.
I was going to have a bone to pick with you about that.
Yeah, I've got a complaint line. It's tom@thv11.com. That's right.
Perfect.
So it's hot. It's blazing hot. I don't think of deer season being this hot, but nonetheless, deer season is open.
Archery deer season opened last weekend, so we've been a weekend. We're over 3,000 deer have been checked so far.
Well, that's not bad.
Considering the warm temperatures we've had.
That's not bad at all.
It is very good. Now, look, it's Arkansas, it's September. Yeah, we get some cold fronts through. This is pretty normal, though, really. I mean, as much as we like to complain about it, it's Arkansas. Hey, we're only 1 week into official fall, right?
That's right. I think next weekend we'll probably get that blast of cold air. On a side note, all those deer that hunters haven't been able to take, they're in my yard. They're eating my hostas. So I know where they're at if anyone's looking for them.
Right.
Okay, so let's talk about Lake Conway. I drove past on 40 the other day. You're really lowering the limit of the water levels on Lake Conway. What's some news out of there?
We opened a second gate a little over a week ago now, I think it was. And again, we have to kind of slow that water out of there. So it's going to still take a while. There's going to be fishable water. So
fishable, huh?
Yeah, and speaking of fishing, I got some great news for people that want to go out there and take advantage. Of course, there's no limits on Lake Conway, but we've had the tag fish promotion with the $500 reward tags. We've only had 2 of those turned in so far.
Okay.
So we are doubling down, literally.
No
now
way.
Those tags are going to be worth $1,000.
So when your wives ask, what are you doing out there? You're wasting your Saturday. And you can say, well, I'm going to work, honey.
I'm going to get some good piscine protein for the family.
There you go.
And I'm going to make some money, maybe.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, excellent. Now, that goes through
October 31st.
Okay.
Is it now? And if people have asked, if you catch a fish in the Arkansas River with that tag, we will honor it because that's where Palarm Creek, drains into the river. But it does end on October 31st. So we've still got over a month though to get out there and maybe, first of all, get some food and maybe catch $1,000 fish.
Ooh, how about that? Wouldn't that be nice?
That would be great.
Nice? It is such an exciting time. Bear season opened earlier this week. Teal season opened yesterday. So we probably have fewer hunters watching this morning. So I think there's probably a few folks out and about, and that's okay. Tell us what we need to know.
Yeah, well, first of all, I have to say I appreciate that you are in the camo. You are dressed for the season. Are you going teal hunting as soon as we get out of here?
I was hoping you could hurry this up so we could make it out.
That's I really like that. I could have used that on the teal hunt yesterday morning.
Well, if we don't kill any teal later, it's because you're not dressed right.
Yeah, the light blue might spook them a little bit.
Giving us away.
No, Scott, archery bear season opened on Wednesday. One thing hunters need to know about that, there is a new requirement to have a bear permit. Brand new this season. Here's the thing, it doesn't cost anything.
Okay.
It's free. It's just like a designation, much like the Harvest Information Program or the HIP that waterfowl and other migratory bird hunters have to have. It's free, but it is a requirement to hunt. Essentially, behind that, we just want to get a better idea of how many people are pursuing bear in the state. We know how many are checked every year, but we want to know what the effort is.
Sure.
And so that's the purpose of that. So bear hunters, if you don't have one of those, get one of those. Of course, this is the archery season, and about 3/4 of the bears checked in Arkansas every year come from the archery portion.
That is
of
a
the hunt.
larger percentage than I would have guessed.
It is a considerable percentage. It's starting earlier than it has in the past because bear hunters kind of came to us and said, look, a lot of bear hunting takes place over bait, and that's legal on private land in Arkansas.
Yep.
But even with the bait out, once the acorns or acorns, however you want to pronounce it, start dropping, the bears are not as interested even in the bait that's out there. So archery hunters wanted to get that kind of early opportunity. So that's why it's starting, historically has started with archery deer season, which is about a week away.
About a week away. But before we get to that, Till season opened yesterday.
Yeah, it's such a great, I'm an avid duck hunter. I know you're a big fan of waterfowl hunting as well. So it's really kind of an early season opportunity.
Sure.
Capturing the blue-winged teal primarily, their migration through the state early. So yeah, that cranked up yesterday. It's a short season, only 16 days, goes through the 30th. Some of the rain we got last week has helped out.
Sure.
But places like the Arkansas River, some of those backwaters, oxbows on White River Refuge and places like that, anywhere where you can find some permanent or semi-permanent water is a good place
Probably
to
gonna
find
see
teal.
some.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. Beautiful birds. Ducks that just migrate a little bit early.
They get through here a little bit earlier. The thing that's great about this early teal season is it's kind of a hybrid between dove hunting and duck hunting, because you don't have to worry about hiding nearly as much as you do in a regular duck hunt. And typically, if there's some birds around, they do fly fast, and they are hard to hit, but man, they are delicious on the dinner table too.
Beautiful birds too. Okay, so we got that. Bear season started earlier this week. You got till season started yesterday. You mentioned we have some more seasons opening next week. As we're looking ahead, next weekend, maybe you're not a till hunter or a duck hunter or a bear hunter. Big opportunity in northwestern Arkansas.
Man, a fun event, Scott. It is the World Champion Squirrel Cook-Off.
World Champion.
And the cool thing about this year, the Squirrel Cook-Off has been on a hiatus. The event started in Bentonville down on the square a number of years ago, probably at least 10 years ago now. It's kind of bounced around, and COVID interrupted it in 20 and again in 21, and then they just didn't do it last year. I think logistics or whatever. We are very excited at Arkansas Game and Fish to be hosting the event this year at our Ozark Highlands Nature Center in Springdale. It's off of Wagon Wheel Road.
Easy to get to.
Off of I-49. Yeah, you can actually see it from 49 between, I believe it's Elm Springs and Wagon Wheel. Look over to the right. But yeah, there's the big brown signs like state parks have that direct traffic there. Starts, things will get cranked up about 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. Like 40 teams cooking squirrel for bragging rights, big trophies. It's really a celebration of small game, though. And like we've been talking ducks and bear and deer this morning. And a lot of people, we've seen participation slack in small game like squirrel and rabbit. So this is a great way to celebrate a very accessible, inexpensive type of hunting for people. I mean, millions of acres of public land to squirrel hunt on in Arkansas, so it's really easy to do. But so many great events. The dishes are amazing, Scott. We've also got an air rifle competition going on next Saturday morning from 10 to noon in our marksmanship center there. Cooking 400 gallons of rabbit fricassee. It could be a Guinness World Record, I'm told. I don't know. But yeah, a whole alligator roasted on a spit. So lots of fun stuff going on at the Nature Center for the World Champion Squirrel Cook-Off.
He's got more information and all the details you need to know about that on his website, agfc.com.